The #1 search on Google for solar is, how much solar do I need to charge a Tesla? In 2020, we purchased Tesla Solar before getting our first Tesla. We got a 4 kilowatt system, and I thought, it's plenty to charge your car, run a few things around the home, so we don't need to pay so much for electricity. But now in 2024, our electricity bill costs so much. Does solar even work, and do I regret getting it? And there's one huge factor I didn't even consider that nobody talks about. Now, at the time in 2020, the most expensive cost for electricity through our provider was 32 cents from 4 to 9 p.m. And I thought 4 kilowatts would be plenty for us without any issues. And after searching around, I found that Tesla Solar was the cheapest for solar panels at the time. And a Powerwall? For the price of a Powerwall, I could upgrade my system another 4 kilowatts. Why would anyone need a Powerwall? Getting a Powerwall in Southern California is dumb. Well, it's now 2024, and I officially regret my life decisions, as I'm about to drop maybe like $55,000 on more panels. And yes, Powerwalls. Let me walk you through my process and why I'm adding all these panels, as well as my regrets. You see, a 4 kilowatt system at the time was so cheap after tax credits. We only paid like $6,000 for a whole system. However, now the cost of a 4 kilowatt system has gone up to $11,000. But they did slightly increase the tax credit. So total after the tax credit would be around $8,000. But let's get the slap out of your face. I didn't even realize it was under my nose the whole time out of the way. The rising cost of electricity. Who thinks about this? I mean, I live in Southern California, the place with abundance of sunshine, and yet the rates of my utility provider, Southern California Edison, have skyrocketed. This is bad because we produce energy during the day, and any excess energy goes back to SCE under their net energy metering plan, and that energy gives us credit. But now with their new NEM 3.0 plan that was put into place in 2022, even though you're generating more than you're using, instead of a one-to-one rate where, for example, if it costs 24 cents to use electricity, and if we generate more, we will get 24 cents back, they now give up to 75% less credit. And now between 4 to 9 p.m. when the sun is setting and we're still using electricity, our rates are a whopping 61 cents a kilowatt during summer months, which is the most expensive rate. So in only 4 years, the cost of electricity has increased by almost 100%. So imagine in another 4 years, we could potentially be paying over $1 for electricity. According to SCE, it's all due to the cost of purchasing power, repairs, California fires, and all that stuff. And another huge thing I didn't realize that caused my bill in Orange County to be so expensive was this new partnership with a local provider called Orange County Power Authority. Pretty much SCE delivers our electricity, but OCPA would generate cleaner electricity for us, but it costs us more as well. In our bill in January of 2023, it was the most confusing bill I've ever seen. For some reason, we had 3 different payments owed, but we were billed for each section on different months. Luckily, I was able to opt out and go back to SCE for everything. And a few months later, our bill was a lot cheaper and made a little bit more sense. But there's just so many factors that affect the cost of your bill. And I always just thought it was so black and white. But just like a new iPhone, even with solar panels, you have to consider future proofing. Since 2020, we got an ice chest freezer, a ton of security cameras, new air purifiers, a new Tesla to charge, a mini pool with a filter, stronger routers. The list is endless. And because we have all those things, our energy consumption has also increased. And I'm still not done. I didn't even think about other factors like winter versus summer sun and how there's not that much sun in the winter, as well as the location of my home and how much total energy my home can actually produce. And even the fact that with age and time, the solar panels become less effective. So here I am now adding more panels as well as Powerwalls to my system. Now, don't get me wrong, in the 4 years we had Tesla Solar, I've had 0 problems with it, but our bill has been over $200 since then. And here's the crazy part. We haven't even been charging our Teslas at home in months. We've actually been going to Tesla superchargers to charge since we still have a bunch of free supercharging miles, and that's insane. Now, before we do anything, we need to know how much we actually actually consume currently. SCE is always changing their website. I mean, they used to have a yearly kilowatt hour feature, but now I have to manually calculate it. So for 2023, I consumed 10,116 kilowatt hours of energy. Then we go to this website I found out, and this shows you the maximum kilowatts your area produces with sun monthly and yearly based on the system you have. So a 4 kilowatt system would only produce me a little over 6,000 kilowatt hours of energy a year, which means I'm over 4,000 kilowatt hours short. Now, if you want to be super technical, you can look at your monthly consumption as well as break it all down to see what months you really suffer with no solar. But if that's too annoying, on Tesla's website, they make it easy for you with your address as well as the cost of your monthly utility bill currently. Just make sure your roofing square foot is correct, as it keeps thinking my roof is really small, but it actually limits the amount of solar panels I could put on, but it's really not. It's not that small at all. So I had to manually change it all myself. Also, make sure to switch it from potential incentives to purchase price so you're not shocked with the amount you actually have to pay. It also breaks it down. It tells you for an 8 kilowatt system, I'll generate 12,000 kilowatt hours, which would allow me to finally generate more than I consume by just a little, but that's not enough. Remember, we're future proofing. And now you also have to get a Powerwall in order to get a Tesla Solar, adding another $10,000 to that total. And I'll talk about why I've changed my mind all about the Powerwalls in a second. You also have the ability to modify and future-proof the system. For instance, I added 2 electric vehicle charging as well as adding another member to our family. And they recommend a 15 kilowatt system with an annual production of 23,000 kilowatt hours. And this is super important. You guys can't forget that. Back in 2021, my yearly consumption was only 7,900. And in 2023, it jumped to over 10,000. So never ever buy just enough for what you're currently producing. Always consider the future, because let's face it, the cost of literally everything is always going up. Right now, we're considering the largest system our roof can hold, which is around 17 kilowatts. Considering how I already have 4 kilowatts, I'm adding 13 more. And the total for just the panels is $38,000. Which is still expensive. So I wanted to make sure before I went with Tesla, you have to check out the other solar companies in the area to see what they're offering. Before I would cold call these people. However, I found out about a website called Energy Sage to see the best apples to apples solar comparison. It's like a one-stop shop for finding the best solar prices in the area, as well as learning a ton of stuff about solar. It's all free. There's no strings attached. You don't have to provide a phone number if you don't want to either. So while I'm still hoping Tesla Solar does offer the cheapest prices around, I just wanted to be sure. So let's take a look at Energy Sage because I got a few quotes. And what's great about it is, they ask you all these detailed questions. They have you upload your utility bill, as well as competitive quotes like from Tesla, so you can get matched with the best quote possible. And usually they can get you the quotes back within hours, but sometimes it may take around 24 to 48 hours to receive quotes from multiple solar companies. They do all the work for you. I even had a dedicated advisor, Maria, who reached out to me after I submitted my info and wanted to know more details of my current system so she can speak out to the other solar companies on my behalf to give me the most accurate quote. And I was actually able to get some really good quotes, and I was really surprised. And you can see the full breakdown of the quote. One company said it would come in at $6,000 cheaper than Tesla. Overall, if you guys are getting or interested in Tesla Solar, try Energy Sage just to see what's out there. If you guys are interested in checking out Energy Sage, I have a link in the description below. But for us though, because we have the Cybertruck Power Share, it makes sense to go through Tesla to do everything, since I already have a gateway installed, and I heard it could be very complicating to do this third-party installation with the Powerwall if you have the Tesla gateway for the Cybertruck. Also, Tesla does price match if you find cheaper rates out there. However, you still have to order the system first. So we'll see if they can price match the quote I got from another company. But it's Mighty Morphin Powerwall time. Now, it's more expensive than solar panels. It's a battery, so it degrades over time. I just didn't see the reason for it back then. However, now I'm all about the Powerwalls, and here's why. First off, you don't get sun the whole day. Around 4 p.m., the sun starts setting, so you don't produce that much energy. This means during that most expensive rate time, 4 to 9 p.m., you're using the grid power And again, the rising cost of electricity rates, using electricity during that time is a huge waste of money, and it kind of negates having solar. Dose. Because of that new net energy metering, again, when you produce more than you consume during the day, for instance, because not a lot of people are home during the day, your credit from the grid is way less than what you're using. So again, you're wasting money. And 3, because you don't produce more energy during winter months, some days we may not even see the sun at all. If you have a Powerwall, you save that energy with whatever energy you gather throughout the day to power your home during that peak expensive time only. And lastly, of course, if there are blackouts, it keeps your important appliances up and running. And with the Tesla app, it shows you all this detail about how much power you're consuming and generating, which is super cool. They even let you test the app out on the website to see what it looks like. One Powerwall should last you about 1.5 days of power on cloudy days, but 2 Powerwalls could last you a solid 3 days. And now if you're considering Tesla Solar on Tesla's website, you're pretty pissed because they bundled the expensive Powerwall together. But Tesla does explain why, and this only applies to people who live in California. Per Tesla, solar bundled with Powerwall provides the best value under net billing tariff. That's the NEM 3.0 plan I was talking to you guys about. Over 10 years, a 7 kilowatt plus 1 Powerwall solar system has a net savings of $14,999 greater than a 7 kilowatt system. Remember that, with a net savings of only $8,859 despite the higher upfront cost. And they really ain't capping. It's real. Look at me, I'm the prime example. So overall, I really hope this video opened up your eyes. I think the one question everyone asks me is, why get solar if it's gonna cost so much? Biggest thing is, you won't break even for 10 years minimum. But again, with the rising cost of electricity, it can be technically sooner. And luckily with the 30% federal tax credit, my 12.9 kilowatt system and 2 Powerwalls will cost around $37,000, but I better be living here for at least 20 years. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Comment down below if you guys have solar and how much you guys are paying for electricity every month. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.